So this video is about the hijack of Christianity by Constantine a long time ago to make the beginning of what I refer to as CHURCHianity. The hijack of Christianity by church, which is some 1700 years ago, is arguably the most significant event since the crucifixion. Even though it's a long time ago, the effects have knocked on down the generations until today. The key is the fake conversion and very skillful manipulation of the Roman Emperor Constantine. Today's churches always accept his conversion as genuine. They are actually the fruit of what Constantine did, so they don't really have much choice in that. So just looking at the historical background here. In the first 300 years of Christianity, it seems that the number of Christians approximately doubled every 50 years. This is a remarkable growth for any movement, never mind one that endorsed and followed an executed provincial criminal, which is what Jesus was officially. Christians endeavoured not to constitute a threat to anybody. They were gentle, they cared for others, including pagans, but of course they could not worship the Roman gods, and also, it seems, frequently refused to use violence or to serve in the army. For the Romans, who were both violent and warlike, these were not only threats, but major threats given the rapid growth of Christianity. It's possible that by the time of Constantine, Christians made up as much as 1/8 of the empire's population. With doubling every 50 years, that would make it 1/2 in only another 100 years. So as far as the Romans were concerned, a remedy had to be found. So the 3rd century was a bad time for the Roman Empire. Historians call the period from 235 to 285 the crisis of the 3rd century. That's 50 years, so it's quite a long crisis. In brief, the Romans were regularly killing each other in addition to their external wars. The man who brought the crisis to an end was Emperor Diocletian. He achieved a large element of control over the whole empire, but only at the cost of a 4-way division. There were 2 main emperors and 2 assistant emperors who had the titles Augustus and Caesar, respectively, and they each ruled a separate part of the empire. This period is called the Tetrarchy, or the Rule of 4. Constantine's father was at one point the Caesar of the Western Empire, and at this time Constantine himself travelled east as a young man to serve under Diocletian. Hence he was in a position to observe the Diocletian persecution of Christians, which was the worst ever by Rome. He will also have observed that it didn't work. Persecution seemed only to increase the strength and growth of Christianity. Some other solution to the Christian problem was needed. Constantine's father achieved elevation to Augustus of the Western Empire, but died shortly after. And at that time, Constantine himself was back with him in York in England, and he became the new Augustus. He was exceptionally capable both politically and militarily, and extremely ambitious. He knew the Tetrarchy was always prone to civil war when one of the 4 emperors sought more power, and aimed for total power himself. His success here would fully unite the empire once more. If he achieved that, there would then be the Christian problem to deal with. So we come to the Battle of Milvian Bridge, which you may have heard of. Constantine fought against his last Western Empire rival at this crucial battle in 312 AD. His famous order for his soldiers to put the cross, or the Chi Rho, an alternative Christian symbol, on their shields was something of a no-brainer. It meant he was able to claim that he fought for Jesus. If defeated, he was certain to be killed anyway. That's the way the Romans did things. If he won, he was then in a good position to co-opt Christianity rather than attempting another, probably counterproductive persecution. It is clear that Constantine's conversion was fake. In addition to the matter of his motivation already described, he never accepted baptism until he was on his deathbed. Perhaps he saw that as a sort of insurance policy in case Christianity turned out to be true. Throughout his life he supported paganism, even to the point of changing the day of rest on the Sabbath, the seventh day, to Sunday, the day of the sun god. This was done at almost the same time that he convened the Council of Nicaea, where he put himself at the head of Christianity. The reason we take Sunday as a day of rest now is because of Constantine's command, which clearly shows his huge influence right down to the present day. Further, his political manipulation and battles are an obvious contradiction to Jesus' statements about love for enemies and the meek inheriting the earth. Constantine's life was about winning and then consolidating political, military and spiritual power. Yet today's churches must accept his conversion as genuine, since their own legitimacy depends upon it. In accepting it, they buy into a religion that seeks organisational power and often state power and readily approves of war. Following his victory at Milvian Bridge, Constantine was able to draw Christians into his new universal or Catholic religion. Catholicus in Latin means universal. This was the beginning of the Roman Catholic Church. Naturally, there were those who objected. However, over time and with the insistence of some key people such as Saint Augustine, the Church prevailed. There was a merging of Christianity with the state. Christianity was also sucked into Roman materialism with very large and very elaborate church buildings. It was saddled with a heavy hierarchy, with the chance for someone to be the top Christian, having a comfortable life and much power. Since then, Christianity has been associated with power, with government, with warfare, with violence and with wealth. Constantine was the founder of Christendom, which is short for Christian dominion. This is a complete contradiction to the doctrine of the kingdom of God, which is within us, rather than concerned with external power. Whether it is Catholic flavour or Protestant flavour makes little difference. Luther was happy with the head of state being head of the church. Calvin even made himself head of state. Both used violence, and their followers, such as Cromwell, Knox or the Puritan Pilgrim Fathers, did too. As stated above, Constantine lived a very long time ago, but the effects of what he did are still with us today. If you'd like to go onto the website christianrethink.co.uk, you'll find many other articles dealing with the effects of this, or there are also some other videos on this YouTube channel. Many thanks for watching and listening.